What is up, artists and movers? It's me, Gaylyn Lareese, and I am back with another podcast style episode. You guys are seeming to kind of like these, and I'm liking them because they are currently my compromise between making more intensive videos here on my channel and not making anything at all. So I've been enjoying them. I'm glad you have been too. If you are reading the title and you're like, Gaylyn, what on earth does Lil Nas X, Wendy Williams, and Dave Chappelle have to do with dance? What does that have to do with dance and creativity? I promise you, I'm gonna make it make sense, okay? I just need for you to stay the whole time. So, that being said, go ahead and listen to this while you are maybe making your breakfast, perhaps. A nice healthy meal, a nice healthy, full, hearty breakfast to start your day. Listen to it while you're on your drive. If you are putting up with the fact that you cannot exit YouTube and still hear the audio, thank you, because I know that's pain. But let it play throughout your day, because we are going to talk about something that I really realized is super important and that I feel like I have truly taken a big learning nugget from and am moving forward with it for the rest of my life, for sure. So, in my last podcast episode titled Why the Hustle is a Scam for Creatives, I kind of talked about the creative cycle and the 3 stages that make up the creative cycle. So if you have not listened to that episode, I highly recommend listening to that first before you listen to this one, just because I really break down what the creative cycle is and where I'm finding myself on it right now. So yeah, listen to that one first. But when you come back, or if you have already listened to that one, I want to talk today about one of the stages, which is the promote stage. And the promote stage is where I found myself the beginning of 2021. Still currently there, but I do feel like I'm starting to step out of it. But it's the stage that I feel like I've learned the most in recently. Like, I feel like I have some really recent tangible things that I've taken from that stage during my creative cycle that I want to share with you guys. So the promote stage is exactly what it sounds like. It's when you are promoting yourself, promoting what you do, and promoting what makes you unique. And it's an important part of being a creative because as much as it's, great to make things, you have to make sure that they're seen. You have to make sure that they're getting in front of new eyes. And you also have to make sure that they're getting in front of the right eyes. And that's where the magic happens. Now, when people say typically getting in front of the right eyes or getting in front of the right person, a lot of times they're talking about getting in front of someone who's gonna give you an opportunity and who's gonna see you and make you a star. And that's not what I'm talking about. When I say getting in front of the right eyes, I mean getting in front of your people, finding your people. And the reason why I found that this is so important is because for me personally, as a creative, which I'm starting to embrace that I'm not just a dancer, I am a creative. I am actually going through this phase right now where I don't feel like dancing as much. But I do still feel like making stuff. And so it's like, what do I do with that? Oh, Gaylyn, you're a creative. I think I have like 120 something videos. I may have surpassed that at this point, but I be making stuff. So I need to get over it and accept that I'm a creative. But as a creative, it's important to make sure that you do find those people. And for me, in the beginning, and maybe you can relate to this, I was so concerned with just getting as big as possible. Being a content creator is so popular now. Being an artist is so popular now. but it's often told through the lens of getting really huge. Get the most followers you can on Instagram, get the most subscribers you can on YouTube. And especially when it comes to the dance space, when I was looking at other creators who are making dance content specifically that's more on the educational side, so not so much, dance concept videos and stuff like that, but more so dancers who are making dance tips, dance education videos, that they had gotten pretty big, that their scale had gotten pretty large. And so I myself was essentially trying to replicate that. And what I quickly realized is that, one, there aren't many in general. There aren't very many people talking about dance in the way that is more educational, that is more giving people tools and tips and things like that. And there certainly aren't a lot, if any. Correct me if I'm wrong. Please link them down below if you know them. But there aren't any doing it who are Black. And I'm speaking specifically on YouTube. There aren't a lot of Black people in that space. And so a part of scaling involves hitting these algorithms. And everyone knows that if you are on any kind of platform, you're constantly trying to figure out what the algorithm likes, how you can hack into it. And that's been a lot of people's secret for growth, is like figuring out what the algorithm likes. But something that unfortunately is very true is that these algorithms are racially biased. And that's not what this episode is about. But in knowing that, in understanding that these algorithms do have a propensity for showing videos that are not by minorities simply because of how they are structured, it becomes more important to focus on finding the right people and not just getting more people. Because honestly, for someone who is a minority, the level of scale is essentially unattainable. That does not mean that we can't be successful in this space. It just means that the way we have to go about it is slightly different. And so, in realizing that, it becomes much more important to focus on really building a community instead of focusing on scaling and getting super huge. And the way that you build that community is through promotion. Is through promoting yourself and how you're promoting yourself. And that's really something that I took away from these first, what are we in May? So these first 5 months of 2021 is how important it is, especially as a creative of color, to focus on building your community once you've created some content that's intention was to scale. Because you have to whittle down those numbers to the people who are actually going to rock with you. For real. Because the truth of the matter is that everyone who comes across you, often the only thing you may have in common is that you both like that video that you created. And so the promote stage is really important in terms of helping you find the people who ultimately are going to be the ones to support your career, who are going to help you go from just being a dancer to being a dance business, who are going to help you go from just being an artist to being a creative. And so I kind of want to break down for you guys some of the things that are important to think about when making this promotion material. And ultimately, I have noticed that not only me, not even only dancers, but mostly these other artists that I've talked about, the Dave Chappelles, the Lil Nas X's, the Wendy Williams, really have an understanding of some of these things that I'm about to tell you. So let's dive in. So the first thing that is super important when promoting yourself, when promoting the content that you make, especially as a minority creator, is being open. Now, I know it's like, okay, duh, Gaylyn, you got to be open and you got to be authentic and you got to be genuine and all of these other buzzwords that people are using a lot. But hear me out. You have to be open about your experiences that led you to creating this work. You have to be open about the experiences that you had when making this work. So it's not just about, here's this dance video. It's, here's why this song touched me and I had to create to it. Or it's not just, here's the dance recital that the studio is going to have. It's, here's why I am so excited to have these girls and boys finally on stage. Here's what it's been like in our rehearsals that's led to this. Here's the growth that I've seen in these dancers that I can't wait for you guys to experience. It's truly being open about the emotions that are behind the art that you're creating, because that's what someone who is listening is going to relate to. It's going to touch something in them and it's going to make them say, oh, dang, let me go watch this video. Oh, wow. Okay, let me make sure I'm at this performance. I'm there. I'm where she or he is saying they are. I can relate so much to that. Let me see what they have to say. Because what they have to say is probably going to really apply to me because we're in the same space. We're in the same place. And so being super open, being super honest is so important for helping you find your people, for helping you find your right eyes and not just the general eyes. That takes a promotional post from being very generic that, I just posted a new video. Click the link in bio to learn how to do a flexibility stretch. It takes it from being super simplistic like that to really elevating it to being a piece of work that touches somebody. It takes it beyond just whatever the thing is and makes it relatable. And so that's super important in helping you find your people. Second thing that is super, super important is having the right vocabulary. You guys, something I've noticed with dancers is that because we are so talented at performing on stage and expressing ourselves, we sometimes have a lot of issues using our voice. Hey there, just popping in real quick to say that I hope you are enjoying this conversation, and if so, please consider giving your girl a like. And if you are a dancer looking to build your own dance business or your personal brand and you want to use your voice to establish a deeper relationship with your audience, then I invite you to schedule a coffee date session with me. In our one-on-one session, I can work with you to help you really understand your core values as a business and brand and help you get to some clarity about how you can promote yourself and share your story and your voice. If you would like to, then I will have a link down below to direct you where to schedule. All right, now let's get back to this video. We sometimes don't have the vocabulary to really express what's truly going on with us. And I think a lot of that comes from some of our spaces that we've learned in have been very, doesn't matter what you have to say, get over here and do it. Do the choreography, get the step. But what that does as an artist is it doesn't really help you hone your voice. And so it's important to also have the vocabulary, have the words to express yourself. And that takes expanding your vocabulary. That takes listening to other artists talk about their creative journeys and listening to other artists talk about what they're going through. And so for me, that's why, honestly, if I'm being real with y'all, I'm inspired mostly by people who aren't dancers. Because dancers don't talk about their creative process enough. Dancers stay very surface level a lot of times, and I can't get anything from that helps me as a human being. So if you are having trouble finding the words, I advise you to listen to some other people's artistic perspectives. Listen to a podcast every now and then. Watch more interviews. I love watching interviews. Listen to how other people are talking about their creative experience, their artistic experience, that will help give you some more colorful words to express yours. Because being able to do that and do that well is what's going to make you stand out, especially as a dancer, because dancers aren't doing that. We aren't able to vocalize a lot. So the second thing is really have the vocabulary. Study up on other artists. What were their creative processes? How did they get through a difficult time? What are the words that they use that helped them transition from that time to a place that was a lot more functional, to a place that really gave them a deep understanding that propelled them forward in a new way? Build your vocabulary. The third thing, and this really gets to the heart of what so many interesting artists understand: the Lil Nas X's, the Dave Chappelle's, the Wendy Williams. They understand the importance of polarizing content. Gaylyn, what is polarizing content? Oh, let me tell you. So, planets have poles. The Earth has a North Pole and a South Pole. Every planet has a North Pole and a South Pole based on its axis. And I could really get into this, but I don't have to, because basically what poles are is one end is at one far end and one end is at the other far end. So that's why you have North and South. Those are the two furthest parts away from each other. And with polarizing content, you place people in their perspective of you at one of those poles. So they either love you or they either hate you. And what polarizing content does is it puts people at one of those poles. It makes people either fall deeper in love with you or it makes people hate you. I remember last year I was listening to some dating expert talk about online dating. I hate going places, so I'm 100% for online dating. I don't like leaving my house. And so I'm very pro online dating. And I was looking at this dating expert who was talking about the different kind of things that you want to have on your profile. You want to have some posts that are, or some photos that are really showing off your assets, the things that you are constantly complimented on. So it could be that you have really, really silky hair and you really want to show off that hair in a photo or whatever asset that is for you. But you also want to have some polarizing photos on there. Photos that will either make people love you or hate you. And so on a dating profile, for example, these photos could be a photo of you marching through the streets with a picket sign, really showing you are an activist for certain causes, really showing that that is something that you're passionate about. Or it could be something like you taking a photo with your child. Some people don't want to date someone who has kids. Some people don't want to have kids. And so for the ones who don't want to date someone who has kids, it could be like, well, all right, he got a daughter, I ain't gonna touch that. Or he has a daughter, great, I don't want to have kids, so he already has the kid thing taken care of, I don't have to have kids. When it comes to the photo of you marching in the streets, that's a political affiliation that I don't agree with. Or, ooh, they're about it, I see they are. We're both passionate about the same thing. Swipe, match. So posting polarizing content helps you weed out those people that really aren't for you. And that's what you've got to do with your promotional posts. You got to post some things that make people either fall deeper in love with you or be like, that ain't for me. Because those are the people who are going to want to follow your work. Those are people who are going to support you long term. And ultimately, those are the people who you want to wake up making content for. Those are the people who you want to wake up and have an idea and feel like, ooh, these are the perfect people to share this idea with. There is nothing worse than having an audience filled with people who you actually don't rock with like that. Trying to please people who actually aren't for you. You don't want that on your own platform? That's stress. That's stress. That's dishonesty. That's not feeling authentic. That's not what you want. You want to create promotional material whose goal is to really hone on who the people are that you want to serve. And so that may take some time. Honestly, for me, that's what a lot of my business content is. Everybody who watches my stretch videos ain't here for my business content. But I have a true passion for artists developing wealth and for artists having careers that ultimately they can create from a place of honesty. For artists, feeling fulfilled in their artistic careers and not constantly trying to do what's cool all the time. Because the more voices we have in the artistic space, the better. The more representation we have in the artistic space in every way, not just in terms of race, but in terms of ideology, the better. And so for a lot of people, that is polarizing because they don't want to hear that. They're trying to turn. Or they're trying to get this split. That's what they're trying to do. If you guys hear the bird in the background, it's around 5 a.m. So the birds are wilding right now. They do their fly thing over my apartment, and then they just all gather right next to my window. And they're just like, where's a great place to make lots of noise? Right here. So sorry about that. But that's what I'm passionate about. And those are the people that I want to attract. And so it's become more important for me to make stuff that's for them, to promote in a way that targets them, that speaks to them. And so that's what people like Lil Nas X understands. We have, the songs that he made in the beginning that, attracted everyone. And now he does work that is very polarizing, that shows very much that he is for the LGBT community. And if you don't like it, bye. Dave Chappelle will say some stuff that if you don't like it, bye. Wendy Williams is wild. Sometimes the stuff that flies out of her mouth is nuts. But if you don't like it, bye. Because the people who do like it, they F with her now. When Dave Chappelle says something that touches his audience, his listeners real well, ooh, that gets him some points. They really rock with him. Then they go to his shows in person and they pay him. They take their enjoyment from being in a virtual space, from just watching a YouTube video of his stand-up, to I'm going to go to his show in person. Now they've become someone who supports him long-term, supports his career, because they really, really rock with him. Because he's had the courage to say something that he knew everybody wasn't going to like. The people that rock with Lil Nas X now, they rock with him for life. Y'all already know. His fans about to be like Lady Gaga fans. Because when you make something that truly touches someone, they're yours. They're a supporter of yours. And if you say something or make something that doesn't touch someone, well, then they move on their way. But that doesn't mean that you didn't offer them value at some point. Everyone who watches my stretch videos who doesn't like my business content, I still gave them a really valuable stretch video. And in the future, probably if I make a stretch video again, which I will, I promise I will, then they'll come back and they'll watch that. And so they may not be here for everything that I make, but they're here for some of the things I make. I'm able to still give them value in some way. But everyone isn't going to like every single thing that you make, and that's okay. That's actually great, because if you do get to that place where you found the people who really do support you, those are the people you rock with for the rest of your life. Those are the people you make content and services for the rest of your life. Those are the people you build community with for the rest of your life. Those are the people who your voice has an impact on for the rest of your life. And so that is something that I've really tangibly taken with me from my promote stage. But yeah, we all know how these algorithms go. So it's important to promote yourself, especially when you feel like you've made a lot of things and you're in a space where you're feeling like, dang, nobody sees me. Or why is my stuff not popping off? It's not that you're not good at what you do. Although we all can get better. We all should be striving to get better every single day at what we do and make the best stuff we can possibly make. But sometimes it's just that literally the people don't see it. And of those people, are they the right people? So, are you being open in your promotion? Are you honing your voice? Are you honing your voice with your vocabulary? And are you making some polarizing content? And I'm going to tell you right now, that takes courage. It takes courage to not make things that everyone wants you to make all the time. But honestly, being in a space where you're making stuff just because other people want you to make it, and I'm saying this because I've been there, feels a little slave-like. Feels a little, you start to build a little resentment. Like, why am I making this if I don't even want to make it? And you don't even like me like that. You don't even like my stuff like that. You just really want me to make this video. I've been there. I try not to stay there. And so that's why, honestly, I'm taking this little break from making my videos. Is just because I don't want to feel that kind of resentment at all. I want to constantly love what I make. Because if I'm being honest, most of the stuff I make, it's for y'all, but it really ain't for y'all. It's for me. I'm a selfish artist. I want to make stuff that I've never seen before. I want to make stuff that I've been dreaming of someone else making and nobody else is making it. So I'm like, all right, fine, I'm going to make it. I'm making the stuff that I want to see because I know ultimately there's someone else out there who does too. There's someone else out there who's like, dang, I've been waiting to see this. And so in serving myself as a creative, I'm also serving other people, but not everybody, not all the people. My right people, my people, you know? So that's what's important. Let me know in the comments down below what you're struggling with. You guys, one thing I love about you guys who are my people, y'all be leaving me paragraphs in the comments. And sometimes I get overwhelmed just because I don't know what to say, but I love that you feel so open enough to say it. And I'm working on me finding, the right words to have in these responses. But you guys are super open with me and I love it. I love that you feel that this is a place that you can be honest, that I make stuff that you're like, ooh, I've been waiting to see this. Maybe she's going to understand where I'm coming from. Let me just type out this whole story. I love it. I love it. But yeah, let me know what you're having an issue with right now. Are you having an issue with finding your voice? Are you having an issue with being open? Or are you having an issue with finding the confidence to and the courage to make some polarizing content sometimes? Let me know in the comments down below. I love you guys. I hope you guys got something out of this. If you haven't already, go ahead and join the dance fam by subscribing, especially if this message hits you in the right way. Because I don't just want a big community. I want a community of the right people. I want a community of people who feel seen. I want a community of people who are looking for the same things that I want out of my life and out of my art. And so if that's you, go ahead and hit subscribe and join my little community. I'll see you guys in my next video next weekend. Later.